Hi, I'm Nilay Patel from The Verge.
And I'm Spencer Hall from SB Nation.
And we just want to have a little conversation about some pretty hilarious news, in my opinion, today, which is that the Minnesota Vikings are wearing Google Glass at training camp, which is not going to help them not suck this year. But I think Spencer has some ideas on what it might help them accomplish.
It really does. Like, before we just start making fun of the Vikings, which is going to be the point of this whole thing, there is actually a modicum of useful information and of sort of forward thinking in this, which is a lot of football's about the eyes, and a lot of the coaching that people do, particularly in the defensive secondary and for skill positions on offense, involves looking at people, right? Looking off the safety, going through your reads. Now, Google Glass probably can't, with the technology they've got, actually do eye tracking. I'm just assuming that's probably not something that the NFL...
definitely not yet.
Yeah, not yet. However, what it can do is that it can give you the perspective. So if they really are turning their head to look at receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, then you'll be able to follow along with them. And while that's probably not as valuable for veterans who are certainly doing this already, it's a matter of getting your number 2 and your number 3 and guys who are just coming into the fold trained up on that. So this might actually make some sense for the NFL.
Yeah, but not for the Vikings because they're terrible. So the Rams did this last year, right? Did that like take the sports world on fire? The Rams, we saw this first person video from training camp, make an impact in how you think about sort of sports and sports journalism and what you're seeing from players?
Not really, because the Rams are bad, and they're not a particularly great team. However, it's cool that they're playing around with it because I think, one, coaches just want information. If you want to talk about the information environment that they work in, ideally coaches want perfect information. Everything they do is sort of a step towards getting that. And if you can actually get what they're looking at and seeing on the field, right? Because typically a player will say, well, I saw this and I saw this. Well, you'll literally be able to go to the data and say, no, you didn't. You didn't actually look at the safety at all, or you didn't see the receiver coming across the middle and didn't react. And once you get past a certain level of football, once you get past the college level, when you're really sort of pattern reading at every single opportunity, that'll actually help. So it didn't necessarily rock the world. I think it might if you saw actual improvement based on that. But here's the other trick. The people wearing Google Glass have to be good.
Right, and I think that's the key challenge for the Vikings, right, is they're not very good. What do you think if you're, I don't know, which of their many bad quarterbacks do you think will most benefit from Google Glass?
Let's see, our Vikings quarterback roster. Now, I primarily do college, but we're still dealing with Christian Ponder.
Yeah, no hope for improvement there as far as I can tell.
Okay, there won't be any improvement there because, again, the raw material inside the helmet has to work. And Ponder, this is another thing that just sucks for them, okay? I don't want to take pity on the Vikings, but Ponder's arm is only so strong, right? And he came into the league as somebody who had some nagging injuries to begin with. So it might not go that well. Now, who it can actually help would be Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater coming in is going to have to go from Chris Peterson, who's currently University of Washington head coach, is fond of saying that there's this learning curve for quarterbacks at middle school, high school, college, and pro. And once you get to the pros, he's talking about not only going through multiple options. Like in high school, it's like you're throwing to that guy.
Yeah,
he's a foot taller than everybody else, and he weighs 50 pounds more, and he's really mean. So just give him the ball, and we'll watch everything happen, right? When you get to college, you're like, well, we have like 2 or 3 options. So know what you're looking at and know what you're throwing into. And then when you get to the pros, it's like, okay, you have a full moving spectrum, right? Like moving chess that blows up, right?
Yeah.
And we need you to know exactly where to put the rook and where to put the knight, right? We'll script the plays. You just need to know how everything's moving. For Bridgewater, that's going to be really useful because he played very well in a very collegiate offense with some pro elements in it. So I think this could actually, I think as a learning tool, it's got a lot of potential for him.
That's awesome. So last question, yes or no? Is there any chance the Packers don't beat the Vikings twice this year?
No, the Packers will beat the Vikings twice.
Awesome. I'm Nilay Patel. That's been Spencer Hall. This has been a lengthy troll of Dieter Bohn, the new executive editor of The Verge. And we'll talk to you soon.